Hi everybody, sanibonani, welcome to my channel. Igama lami nguNtando Mdletshe, and on this channel siyaye sibuke ama-reality shows ethu ala eMzansi bese siza la sokhuluma ngawo lama shows, senze ama-reviews, ama-recaps bese siyaphinda futhi sikhuluma nga-any other issues avukayo uma ngabe lama shows sesiwabukile kwi-TV. Siyaphinda-ke futhi sikhulume ngama-celebrities kanye nama-YouTubers ethu ala eMzansi. If it's your first time joining us today and you really like our content, ungakhohlwa ukuthi upress subscribe button la ngezansi bese upress notification bell ukuze phela uthole umyalezo uma ngabe umsebenzi omusha sesiwufakile. Guys, there's also a join button below if you want to be a member. Our membership is growing, but we really need a number nyana, so this is to create a content just for our members. Guys, I haven't forgotten about you. I appreciate you very much. Thank you to everybody that presses the thanks button, you guys, and donates money to the channel. We appreciate every cent. I mean, if you take your money and you give it to me instead of spending it with your family or on yourself, guys, I mean, that is a big thing. We appreciate it a lot, guys, and thank you so much to everybody that watches my adverts. A lot of my revenue comes from people watching adverts on my videos, so I appreciate everything, you guys. I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for that. So today, you guys, I'm going to talk about Uthando Nesthembu yet again, because there's a lot to talk about when it comes to Ntando Nesthembu. But today I'm just going to talk about what are the things that I feel you need after watching Ntando Nesthembu for so long. What are the things that I feel like you kind of need to be in Isthembu, or you should expect if uzoba sesithenjini as a woman. I'm talking from a woman's perspective, because I think a lot of the people that watch Uthando Nesthembu are women. I think there's men as well, but I think a lot of us, it's women that watch Uthando Nesthembu, and we are fascinated about how women, number one, agree to get on Isthembu, number two, how they manage to stay esithenjini, because I feel like it's one of the most challenging setups that you can ever be in as a woman when it comes to relationships. Relationships are hard, guys. Relationships are hard. With umuntu oyedwa. So with the cycle, it must be hard, you guys. So I'm going to talk about, isn't that there are sort of negative, and then I'm going to talk about the positives. So I'm going to with the positives, sort of, okay? Because it's just from what I've seen from the show, because Angiko is changing, and people that are is changing, they might say something totally different to guys. I feel like most changing as a woman, you have to accept Uguti, your needs never really come first. Your needs as a woman never really come first, because it's not just you and your husband here, it's you and your husband and maybe three other people, if we are using umndeni wakamselegu as an example. And I feel like there's more times where needs of a husband come first and the needs of the other wives come first. So a lot of the times your needs do not come first, so you have to be somebody that is able to take care of your needs yourself, whether it is just emotional needs or it is like financially, because yes, we have this impression ukuthi umndeni wakamselegu has a lot of money, but I feel like when ubaba umselegu takes care of the family, he takes care of the family. He doesn't like take care of each of his household. Like he can never say, okay, this month, you guys, I'm not gonna buy lokuzana grocery for this amount for you guys, because umakhumalo needs more grocery this month, those will be nama visitors or whatever. It's like he takes care of his family. Ama needs, like he considers them ndawonye, even though he did say in one interview that, of course, like, oh, mama banengane, he has to consider ukuthi he spends more on households where there is kids. But as a wife, your needs, I feel like more often than not, are hardly ever come first in the relationship, okay? And number two, I feel like you always compromise, whether you think you do or not. Just the fact that out of 7 days in a week, you're not gonna see your husband, you're not gonna have your husband sleep in your house for for 7 nights. Just that alone says that you're compromising. Whether you are aware that you are compromising or not, I know for an example, Makumalo has gone through the extreme of compromising the whole year, but it does not mean that the others do not compromise. Think about the fact that when they go on a trip, Ubabum Selegu has to sleep erumini kamacele the whole time they're on a trip. That is a compromise in itself. So you always have to compromise whether you like it or not. And number three, you guys, I feel like it's always about a man. It's always about a man, because I feel like more often than not, you're not gonna find a woman saying, I want my husband to take another wife. It's always a husband that wants to take another wife, and then the woman gets to a point where they are like, you know what, let me agree to it. So it's always about the needs of a man. Even the wives might think it's the four of us, it's enough now, but if he wants to take another wife, they have to consider that decision, because Isthembu esakhe esikamseleko akusona esabo. So at the end of the day, it's about him. If he still wants to take another wife, whether they want to or not, they do have to consider that, you guys. And then the next one, it's about the children, you guys. I know that there's this picture that is presented, ukuthi umseleko is there for all of his children equally and supports them, but the fact, you guys, is that there is no way that this man individually he is able to give the required attention individually to each of his children, like every single one of his children. There is no way, you guys. I have 3 kids. One of my kids is in boarding school, so in the house I have Amandla, and then I have Usiposetu. Sometimes when I come back from work, I have to make sure that I see Usiposetu, was she okay? Did she have a good day? And then there's Amandla, is he doing homework and whatever? They're writing exams right now and whatever. His father do the same. But like, if you think about the amount of time that you give the attention to each of the children after work, it's not a lot, you guys. And this is just 3 kids, and then Ulung, we have to see her clapping on my weekends, maybe month end, and then holiday she's home. I always feel like that is not enough time. Even on weekends, we have errands to run and all of that. Sometimes you take your child with you just so they get more time with you. Now imagine 10 kids that are not in the same household. Imagine 10 kids that are in 4 different households, you guys. There is no way that Umselegu is able to give that individual attention to each of his children. No way. So even though children don't choose Isthembu, once Mrs. Tenjini, there is some compromising that they do. So as a woman, when you choose to be as Tenjini, you are taking something away from your kids, even though it's indirect, but you are, because that father is not going to have enough time for your kids. Think about it, you guys. Usne has this story of how a guy who was hired by Umselegu would fetch her, because he would be sent by Umselegu ukuthi ayomlanda komalume wakhe, and maye yomlanda komalume wakhe or yomlanda lapho kababa wengane yakhe, he would not ubaba wengane komalume wakhe, because she was younger. Yes, komalume wakhe mayomlanda, then he would allegedly molest her. Had Umselegu had time himself to go fetch his child from komalume wakhe, that wouldn't have happened. Of course, that can happen to anyone. You guys, ingane isebenzisa imoto zomalume, they get abused and all of that. But I'm just trying to make an example that if you have a lot of kids or a lot of household to take care of, things like that might possibly happen because of the fact that you do not have time for everybody, because there's so many of them. He might have money to give to his children, but does he have time to give to his children? Okay, and then number 5, you guys, I feel like as a wife, no matter how much you like peace, conflict is unavoidable. Conflict is unavoidable if you have 3 other women in the marriage. Like, think about Umakumalo, guys. Umakumalo looks like somebody that doesn't want to get into anything with anybody, but how much conflict does she get into when it comes to this family? She's just in that conflict right now with Umangwabe, because who says Tenjin, that would never happen if she wasn't as Tenjin, because she will just be dealing with her man. And so now she kind of, so says Tenjin, conflict is unavoidable, whether you like it or not, because there's things that you're gonna have to fight for kule group yabantu that you are trying to get along with. Also, when it comes to conflict, as a wife, especially when it comes to conflicts between the wife and the husband. As a wife, you always look like the one that has a problem. You always, if you get into a conflict with your husband, you always look like you're the one that is wrong. Because the thing is, if it's just you and your partner and you keep getting into conflict, at some point you might decide, you know what, we really are not able to communicate here. I feel a certain way, you feel a certain way, but it seems like we don't understand each other. Let's go get some help. But when it's you and your partner and other relationships here, you might have a conflict with your husband, but your husband is not having conflict with the other wives. So he might actually feel like kahle problem uwe lana, because look at how I get along with the other wives, but every time I'm at your house, every time you don't want to listen to me, and you have to be screaming at me and whatever, and you don't agree with me and all of that. And he might not make as much effort as he would make if it was just the two of you. Because if it's just the two of you, you guys might just decide, you know what, let's go see someone. We are failing to communicate here. So there is that element of comparison when it comes to relationships. If I can get along with Mdletshe, why can't I get along with you? The problem here is you. So the husband is not motivated to resolve a conflict in one household, because if the conflict is not in every single household, he might not see a problem. He might see a certain wife as a problem. Okay, those are the negatives. I think, guys, I could go on forever because I'm not for Isthembu, but but guys, I guess there are benefits to Isthembu for people that want to get to Isthembu. Okay, number one, I think you do have a lot of time by yourself. If you are somebody that doesn't prefer to spend all of your time with your partner, you have a lot of time all by yourself. Look at Mdletshe, ule esiphaki, uyishila indoda laphayana emzumbe with the other wives, iza nje izombona bese iyahamba iyalaphayana elokhuzeni emzumbe. Someone even said in the comment section, I feel like these wives have enough time to cheat. That's why they look so happy, even though because they probably have their sides, because they have too much time. You could cheat in that relationship and not be caught, because the man doesn't even have time to be here, and not finding you home. When tonight is not mine day. So I'm not saying that it's a good thing that you could possibly cheat, but I feel like for people that prefer time alone, it's a positive. You can just have some time alone. Sometimes we don't want to see these people that we say we love. It's like, don't you want to go home this weekend? Don't you have friends to see this weekend? So if you want that, you are that person, it is good to get on a Isthembu. So, and also number two, you guys, your children have people that can take care of them when you are no longer around in the family. Because I feel like even though the wives might have conflict, there's always tension, but I do feel like they love one another's kids. They love all of the kids. Umakumara loves all the kids. Umangwaba loves all the kids. And Umayin loves all the kids. And Umaxele loves all the kids. And I do feel like if something happened to one of the wives, they would take care of those kids. And I think that is displayed also in how they've taken care of Umpilo, even though Mark is not married to the family, how they have taken care of Usne, even though her mom is no longer around. So I do feel like you have people that they will probably take a very good care of your kids should something happen to you. That is a good thing, you guys. Number three, you guys, I feel like whether you like it or not, you do have some sort of financial support from the other wives. And let me explain what I mean by that. Like if you are in a relationship with your partner, you guys, it's different. Of course, you can be in a relationship with your partner where I can stay at home in my relationship and not work, and my partner works and provides everything. Okay, the pressure on him would be different. Okay, because obviously I'm not working right now. I do work, so there's certain things that I can do for myself. I don't have to ask him, and that gives him a relief as my partner, because he can breathe a little bit. He doesn't have to think about my hair, my nails, and whatever, because I can do that for myself. He doesn't have to think about Vaseline now. So even as Tenjini, guys, when you have wives that work and make money, you can have a wife that is relaxed a little bit, because when the others can provide certain things for themselves, it gives relief to the husband, and then the husband can probably give more to the ones that are not working. you know, and you might not see it, but I feel like it does give that to the family. Okay. Okay, number four, you guys. I feel like you do kind of have friends in the family that you can sort of trust. Okay, depending on the type of relationship you have with your sister wives, you have an opportunity to build friendships. You guys, you do have an opportunity to build friendships, and I think ukuthi even with the wives, they do try to have like genuine friendships, even though I feel like the presence sometimes distracts that, but I feel like they do try to have really genuine friendships, and you see that when they spend time away from umsele ukuthi they really make an effort to get along on their own. So if you want to build friendships, you can build friendships, you can build a sisterhood with your sister wives, you guys. So the last one, you guys, I think that any kind of relationship, you guys, can grow you as a person, because anything that you go through that is challenging, that challenges your personality, your character, the way that you think, uh, grows you as a person. So what better way to grow than be in a relationship with five people? You know, and it takes a lot for you to be able to accept ukuthi my husband loves me and loves me enough, and I am satisfied with how much I am loved, even though I know that he loves that other woman just as much as he loves me, and also to accept my children are loved just as much as those children are loved. It can grow you. I think as a person you do grow in that relationship. Also, even if it grows you in such a way that at some point you decide ukuthi it was a mistake for me to get into this relationship because it doesn't suit me, it's not working for me, but at least you tried to be in this relationship, it did not work, and you grow as a person, you go seek something else. So I do feel like it has a potential to give you some sort of growth as a person. Anyway, you guys, that's all that I wanted to talk about when it comes to this issue. I'm interested to hear what you guys think. What do you think are the opposites in getting to a relationship, Isthembu, and what do you think are the negatives? Ningakhulumi ngama-negatives, but there must be some positives. Okay, let's try. Okay. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like it before Pumegi, share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers. Ntando kakhulu.